Okay, welcome to the behavioral analysis demo. This is part of the Hong Kong U MSc program 7905A. So go back to our slide first, and then I am going to show you by using two virtual machines. One is the Windows 10 victim machine. Another is the Remix Linux distribution, specially designed for malware analysis to demonstrate how I perform the behavioral analysis. So the first thing we are going to do is try to start one of the malware. We designed to use this malware in the Lab3. The sample's name is called withme vbox. So we are using limited tools. The first one is Process Explorer. And then using Process Explorer, by clicking the tab called string, you can check the string of the running process with me. More information will be available when we select the radio button called memory instead of image. The differences of these two selections is the first one, the image is referring to the encoded binary that is in PD format. So if we only check the PD format, we don't find much information. But if we select memory radio button, we may be able to have more information. Of course, in the slide I'm displaying to you right now, you can save the string character for further analysis, but it's up to your option. Then, of course, we can have enable the lower tape of the running process with me process, and then we can check the what kind of DLL or handles that the malware is assessing during the running process. We also can, using another tape under the Windows Process Explorer, we can check what is the entry point of the each thread. In the screen that I displayed right now, you will be able to find at least 6 thread is running, and some of them are running in a kernel, another is running, another file is running in the user process area with the RVA relative virtual address. RVA is the memory virtual address of the entry point of that thread, but the point is you need to add up the base image address to get the accessible memory address when the thread is running inside the process. If you click on the TCP/IP tab without a selection of resolve address, you may be able to find the connection if the malware is enabled or redirect the connection from the victim's Windows machine to the Remix machine. And also more information about the child process, because at first you will see that there will be two versions of the withme vbox binary. When it kickstart, it will start up itself, and then it will spawn another child process with the same name. The entrance address will be different. And also, if you go to another tape called image tape, that is referring to the binary, the PD file of the withme virtualbox .exe. And you will see that there will be a command line without. You can guess without and without out what are the difference. If you turn on the Remix machine with the function config DNS, it will try to resolve one famous malware DNS name, which pointing to 192.168.1.1. Later on, I will show you in the demo how to configure these two virtual machines running on the same subnet with hard-code IP address. The 192.168.1.1 is the Remix IP address, and the Windows machine's IP address should be 192.168.1.100, and configured the default gateway as well as the DNS name, location, DNS server, also pointing to .1.1. Then you can kill the malware, and then by selection of kill process tree on the parents process instead of the child process. By selecting this, you can safely remove both malware, and this malware do not have a feature to hide itself from the process explorer. So we can use this way to kill the parent process of withme VBox. By using auto ones by capture before one capture image before running the malware, and then run the malware, and then stop the malware, and then we capture another auto one version and make a comparison, we can find some of the auto one location it is going to be created. Then if we turn on the process monitor, make sure you select the option when to save all the events in two versions. One is PML, proprietary native process monitor format. Another is CSV. The CSV format is used by the doc, which is, I always name it as process doc. The PML is the format used by the process monitor, and you can roll back this PML format to a new process monitor section, and then we use the information in PML format to see all the additional features of the process monitor log. That is a screenshot of this information. You will find that it will try to save a copy. If you go through the process monitor in details, some of the command will be created. And then if you can go to the temp back file, it is the command line used by the malware after it ran, and then it will restart this batch file every time when it restarts. So when we go to the process doc format, we need two pieces of information. One is the CSV format that created by process monitor previously, but we also need the capture back zip file, and the capture back inside the capture back zip file there will be a capture, and then you can use this by selecting no path and compressed checkbox, and then refresh. You will be able to find a nicely presented process of the withme vbox.exe. As you may aware, there will be two sections, two process of withme vbox. We need to select the parent process. So that is all the procedures that I'm going to show you in the later demonstration in live within this video. Okay, in the live demonstration of the behavioral analysis, I need to use two virtual machines. The first one is our Windows victim system. Another is Remix reverse engineering of malware Linux distribution machine, which is built on top of the Ubuntu version. So before I start to capture the behavioral analysis artifacts, I will go to make sure these two virtual machines are connected together, and the IP configuration should be properly configured for the Windows 10 machine to pointing to the DNS name and default gateway to the Remix machine. So I will show my desktop so that you can see some of the configuration properly when I configure the virtual machines from my host desktop. So the first thing I need to make sure I should have two virtual network adapter. The first one should be private to my Mac or connect locally if you're using VirtualBox, and it is enabled on the virtual machine. But another one is share with my Mac or share with my host machine when you're using VirtualBox. Make sure this adapter is not turned on. The reason is because when I running the executing the VBox with me, and I don't want it to connect to the internet through my share adapter. So I turn it off, and then first I need to configure my IP address on my Windows system. I select the network setting, and then select the Ethernet and change adapter option. So right now you see that my virtual machine, both machine inside the Windows 10 system, the adapter are turned on, but one is closed right here. It seems unpacked. Unpacked means my configuration previously on my virtual machine configuration, I turned off the internet gateway. So right now I disable this one, and then make sure the internal network adapter, I need my configuration to set it properly. I'm using only IPv4 and check the IPv4. Make sure it is 1 and 100 selected with default gateway 1 to 1. But don't forget the domain name resolution IP address, the DNS server need to point to the Remix machine. Otherwise, it will not try to get the withme sample domain C2 domain name to point back to 192.168.1.1. That is the Remix machine. So I make sure it is turned on properly and configured properly. Now I'm going to Remix machine. For the Mac Remix machine, I need to make sure what is the IP address of my current Remix machine. You'll see that my Ethernet 0 is configured with my sharing with my MacBook IP address. So I need to make a change to the proper one. So first I need to configure my Remix machine, make sure it is connect private to my Mac, or if you're using VirtualBox, it should be something like connect with the host only, and it is turned on. Now I need to configure my Ethernet adapter inside the Remix machine as 192.168.1.1. Okay, I need to use sudo command. Sudo means just like running the Linux command terminal as administrator, and then using one of the command line to configure the IP address called ifconfig with the adapter ETH0. If you find your Linux machine or Remix machines net card is not the same one, you need to use replacing this with your identified network card name, and then configure with the IP address, static address .1.1 with netmask 255.255.255.0. Then if I type this, I'm supposing already have my new IP address configured properly with .1.1. Yeah, just make sure one thing, my system is properly configured and matching with the Windows 10 machine, same network. I need to do a ping 192.168.1.100. .1 is the Remix machine. .100 is the Windows machine. See if it is replied. The ping command, I don't want to have too many reply. I just need 4. So it seems that my connection is proper. I can connect from my Linux machine to my Windows machine. Then let me go to the Windows machine to do a ping. Let me make my Windows terminal command into a more easier recognize the font size. So I do a ping 192.168.1.1. That means I try to using my Windows test machine to see whether I can connect it to the Linux machine. Automatically, by default, it will send out from Windows environment the ping command to send out 4 packets to confirm. So now I need to make sure my Linux machine to have a functionality to resolve all the any kind of domain name as the IP of itself. That means spanning to 192.168.1.1. So let me try to start one of the process. Clear the screen. I need to start one of the function or utility called fake DNS. So once it starts up, try to go back to the Windows machine, try to resolve an IP domain. See whether, for example, google.cn. I can get a reply. It is 192.168.1.1. On the Linux machine, you will see that it tried to resolve and capture this information. Okay, so the network configuration are properly configured, but right now I need to start the behavioral analysis capture. The first tool I'm going to use is Auto1. Auto1 is trying to resolve all the, try to find out all the Auto1 location in the registry and some of the folder location. And you see scanning, that is meaning the Auto1 is still running, and you better not to make any change until it finishes to provide you ready. To save the time, I paused the video capture for a while. Now you see ready, that means everything's okay. I want my screen to have a better font size so that you can see more information right here. Okay, what I'm going to do is try to keep a copy of the current scan before I execute the malware. And as I present in the class, I would like to keep a copy all the artifacts that I'm collected. I need to keep it inside a special folder under the documents folder. So I capture with me, try to using my date, March the 1st. So I keep this as the basic source of my auto run. Now I can either close it or minimize it. So I prefer to minimize, close it instead of minimize it. Then I need to take out my sample with me. With me sample is inside my sample folder on my desktop. Then I drag it out on my desktop. So the password of the zip file is infected. Of course, you can using the file analyzer to check some basic information of this binary, such as the in the IP header, you can see when this file has been compiled. Clearly, this sample is created in 2013, long time ago. And you can check the export is refine nothing because this is the binary without export function to any other binary to call to. For the PE import, you will see after some time that is some API, some system binary it is accessing. By moving down, you'll see a lot more of the input function it will call for. Of course, you can copy down the MD5 of the hash, or if you would like to do some testing, such as the PE Studio, you can see some information after the PE Studio scan through. That is a tool created to statically checking any suspicious malicious data or the configuration of the PE or some kind of thing that is important. And it will also go to VirusTotal to check whether it is malicious or not. It will show you some suspicious input, suspicious string inside the binary or inside the image. Of course, you can also go to the PEID. By clicking this, you will be able to check the entropy, which is the randomness of the binary. If the randomness is high, that means it is encrypted, or it say it's not packed. To check the PE not packed, fast check, not packed, that is high chance this binary is not packed. So there will be no major difference between running version of the inside the memory, the string inside the memory, and also the string for the image. So now, before we start executing the malware, we start the Process Explorer. Process Explorer will give you a lot of information of running process. Right now, I'm going to configure the fonts with a larger one so that you can see it more easily. And I would like to turn on some of more features on my Process Explorer window. So I right click here and select column. I go to the network column, see if I can find the process network. I check the receive byte and send byte. It is only a count how many bytes send and receive. For example, if a process, for example, just like explorer.exe, usually you won't see any network activity. But for the others, you may be able to see some of them that may give you some hint whether it is malicious or not. Of course, if you turn on one of the options for lower pane, upper pane, you can change the lower pane, upper pane view either as a DLL, what kind of DLL it is loaded. And if you go back to the view lower pane to the handles, it will show what kind of connection between the running process and any object inside the kernel, including files and other key means registry key. Mutant is some kind of internal object inside the kernel process, and thread. For example, Process Explorer is a multi-threaded program. You will see a lot of running thread to be found in the lower pane. Right now, I don't need to see the lower pane, but I would like to minimize it first. Then I am going to start out another tool is called Process Monitor. When you start Process Monitor, it will be configured with a full screen, and you will pop up this window, and then you just click OK, and you see nothing right here because the amplifier class is not turned on. That means the process monitor is not turned on yet. Let me minimize it because I want to turn it on together with another tool called Capture Back. So Capture Back is a honeypot, whole honeypot tool. It will try to monitor 4 pieces of information on the running Windows system. After it turns on, it will lock up the 4 pieces of information, including the registry, the fragment process, the file system, and the packet information. Capture Back is installed with a network sniffer called Wireshark. So once it turn on, the configuration right here will capture the full packet activity between the between the Windows system and the Remix machine. So now I turn on the capture back. It will run when you see anything saying loading the network adapter dumper, and then it will go to connect to the IP address of the Windows system. So now I'm going to make sure my Remix machine is configured properly. All this information is before the running of the malware. You just remember that. And then I will turn on another function called INetSim. So to turn on INetSim is require the sudo requirement administrative or root privilege. Sudo INetSim. It will simulate all kind of network activity. It seems some error right here because I'm having a running version of INetSim. So I need to check it by using what kind of process running and trying to grab INetSim. I need to turn it off, restart it again. So you will find one main version of the INetSim with the PID 3110. So I need to give you additional command instruction to kill the PID 3110, and you also need to do potential. So if you check the process again, you will not see running process INetSim. So right now, I need to type INetSim again to do INetSim. It will simulate all network activity, just like IRC, FTP, SMMT, web, port3 is the email. So I go back to my Windows system and I already turn on the process monitor. I already turn on the capture back. Now I need to turn on my process monitor. I don't need to see the process monitor. It seems everything is okay. Right now, I start the withme. After I start the withme, you will see that I have the withme information running. Right now, I have 2 versions. If I go to, just like go to the slide, I go to property, you will see some command right here. TCP/IP connect some location. Yeah, it connect to 192.168.1.1, sending packet to my Remix machine. And if you go to string in the image, you will get this memory. You get a little bit different, but when you go scroll down the content, both image and memory, more or less the same, because the image is not packed. Okay, so when I go to Remix machine, you will see that there is a new domain it is trying to resolve. That sexwithme.info is the domain name encoded inside the binary. And the binary that it is executing, it tries to decode it in the process memory, and then try to send them some connection from my Windows machine to my Remix machine. Okay, so it seems everything is sufficient, and then now I am going to kill the process. Before I kill the process, I have to do one more thing. Make sure I remember and mark down the PID of the parent process. Currently, my version of parent process 4192. Remember that 4192. So I killed 3. Okay. Then I stop the capture back. When I click inside, I hit enter. One time is not good, 2 times, 3 times, then it will try to capture the information. So right now I will stop recording until it finishes. Okay, I turn on the recording again, and because my capture back is finished, once everything is finished, I can find everything's okay command, and then I can close it. And I need to stop the process monitor log. So if your host machine is fast enough, suppose you can stop the process monitor logging immediately. So right now I'm going to change the font so that you can see more clearly. You don't need to do the font change. So I save the information that I capture. Make sure you select all events. The first version is to the native process monitor format. So I want to save everything inside the folder that I create under my document folder. And then I keep the default name. Even though I select the proper location, it doesn't mean I already saved the log. I need to click OK to save the log. Then I need to save another version or event, but in CSV format with the same location. Okay, before I close the process monitor, maybe you can have a look what is going on. For example, you can check by capture log, compare with the capture log to see what kind of process is running during the capture of the activity. It's just like the process monitor, just like the process explorer, you will see all the process tree running. For the green, the deep green color, it means the process already terminated within the time. If you see a slight vertical line, it just means the process running in a very short time during the period. And go back to the with me box, even though the with me box with me box process already terminated, it will have two process running. One is 4192, another is 4048. I would set remember 4192 because we need this information. So we don't need to use the process monitor again. Either you can close it or minimize it. Now, next step is we need to capture everything put it into a document folder that I created previously. The first information I need to capture is the capture back data. That is a zip file. I drag it on the table. And inside the capture pack, I should be able to find the log and also a PCAP file that capture the activity of the network packet transmit between my Windows 10 machine and Linux machine. Then I need to put it into a place that I can extract it into a more proper location. I put this inside, I put this inside, and then see whether you want to keep the with me or not. In my case, I would like to keep the with me also inside. And then I have the most important node already. But before I start analyze or before I go to the POC or process doc, I would like to capture one copy of my auto1 location after executed the malware so that I can do the comparison between the first one and the second one. Okay, my auto1 capture is finished because I see, sorry for the interruption of my other host machine activity. So before we go ahead and then we see the auto run second scan after executed. The malware is becoming ready right now. Now I need to save the new capture. The folder is pointing to the same folder that I created previously, but this time I don't want to use the same name of the first scan. Right now I try to using the second scan score with the additional different names. After the save of the information, I can do a compare with the first log. So they give me some more information. For example, it's roaming, trying to on the roaming profile. That is an entry in the runs location and the startup location, pointing to a binary called .exe new name. And then if you expand this, you will be able to find the same thing. Okay, so I have two binary startup location by running the auto run. So I can close it. And now I have everything. Then I can start the hotdog to process stop to try to draw the parent process in the tree. I need two pieces of information. The first one is CSV file. Second one is the PCAP. Now, because this time I have PCAP activity recorded, I should be able to start easier. I check this box, compressed it, and no path, and then I take the launcher. It may need some time, so I have to pause the recording. After a while, I should be able to find some process recorded right here. I need to pick the parent process of withme VBox that is 4192, and then I hit refresh. It will try to draw the graph for us. Let me stop the recording and then wait until it finishes. I turn on back again. Okay, after a while, I will be able to find this wonderful diagram. We try to the withme VBox with PID 4192. Try to connect to a domain with the domain name called sex with me info. It resolved to the IP address 192.168.1.1 because we turn on the iNet SIM on Linux machine and configured my Windows machine, resolve the DNS name to Linux machine. And then it will start a different thread, one thread with the TIP 312. It tried to update registry location, and then it start up the log auto start location. It also have one temp file create. Okay, then of course you can take out this temp file directly from your Windows system, or you can find this file inside the capture backlog. So it will create one batch file, one .exe file, and one registry, and also it will call a command line to start the one of the command prompt in the background with the GUI interface, and then we try to start a code host, and then we will start the command to start up these newly created withme files, and that is the graph we want to use. Actually, you can save it or export this diagram and put it into one location. For example, this PNG format on the withme. Better you don't specify the don't have to specify the extension name withme graph. And then, of course, you can save the same collection in the process doc format, and you can use the default or with me, but you need to put it in your document folder. So everything is collected, and right now you can consider the codes F on all the process, including the process monitor, because you have the log already. You can call back the PML format again by using process monitor. For the process explorer, you don't need to see anything because it's running in real time. Now, before you close everything, make sure you back up your data. So where is your data? Your data is at the document folder called with me. I usually set it. This time, it depends how you want to handle the data because it may contain the binary. So I want to um, set it add to the by selecting the function called 7-zip or archive it and putting the password, and make sure you take the archive format as sim with infected. Type it again, infected. Check is okay, then it will save the collected artifacts inside my window environment, and then I can drag it outside to my host machine for further analysis in the future. And by doing this, I don't worry if one day I restarted uh, my snapshot, go back to the original one, and I will not lose my artifact collected. So this is the full activity of the behavioral analysis. And how to interpret it, we need to see in the demonstration of IA user supply by our TA.